Oh man, runners on second and third, just one out. Joan Duran given up like 5 straight hits to the Mets. Oh geez, he might be screwed. Okay, wait, he struck Jeff McNeil out. He has a shot to get out of this, but first he has to get through Francisco Alvarez. Thank you for being here. Subscribed or not, if you haven't joined the 49% elite humans, consider hitting that button if you enjoy the videos, as the Phillies welcome the Mets this week, and it was a big series. Much bigger for the Mets, though. This division's been pretty much wrapped up for a couple weeks now, but hey, this is a 4-game series. If the Mets sweep, they'd be 3 games back of the Phillies, even if they just won the series. That cuts it down to 5 games with about 16 to go. Overall, obviously outside shot, and the Phillies just got to do what they can to put this away, which doesn't seem like it should be such a problem considering they're 7 games up. But despite being in first place for the majority of this season, you wouldn't think that was the case watching the Phillies play the Mets up to this point. The Mets were 7-2 against the Phillies going into this latest series. They just recently swept the Phillies at home in a series that included a game where Joan Duran gave up 4 straight singles in the 9th to get walked off on, sandwiched in between 2 blowouts. So after that, even after having a really crappy August, I mean, there might be something here. They just swept the first place Phillies. They're 4 back of the division. You have to look at the Mets and go,
oh, no, hold on a minute.
well, then they'd lose 3 of 4 to the Marlins at home. And you're thinking, damn, here they go again. They sweep the Phillies, but can barely beat the Marlins. But then they storm into Detroit and take 2 of 3, scoring a ton of runs in those first 2 games, 22 combined. And you're thinking,
oh, no, hold on a minute.
And then they lose 2 of 3 in Cincinnati. But skip to the 9th inning of Game 1 in Philly. Phillies have only scratched across 1 singular Uno run up to this point. It sure looks like it's about to bite them in the ass. Duran in the game, again, he gave up 4 straight hits his last time facing this team, and 0 time was wasted to make it 5 in a row. Pete Alonso takes the first pitch he sees in a center for a leadoff base hit. Brandon Nimmo then lines out before Mark Vientos takes the Pete Alonso route and makes a double out of it. Smoking this first pitch in a right, second and third, 1 out, you're saying,
oh, no, hold on a minute.
Jeff McNeil at the plate, he attempts to do what Pete and Mark did, but fails. Swing and a miss at 102. Next pitch, 102. Again, he fouls it away. Takes a couple of knuckle curveballs in the dirt. Duran's like, screw this. Goes back to 102. McNeil fouls it away. Duran stays with 102 and gets another swing and a miss. Hence, the worst, most uncompetitive at-bat I have ever seen in my 54 years on this planet. This was crazy. You genuinely think Alvarez was betting here. I mean, what in God's name is this? This genuinely looks like they took a fan from the stands to try and hit. Wow. Ball game over. Phillies hold on 1-0, hence the beatdown of a freaking lifetime. Basically to make up for how much the Mets had dominated them before this. Nick Castellanos must have watched my video on him. He's gotten at least 1 hit in every game played since, although it's only been like 4 games. But still, let's go with the narrative that I fixed him. You're welcome, Philly. He doubles in 2 in the first, then Otto Kemp goes deep, then Harrison Bader, the creator of the infamous Karen, goes deep. He has been going off, by the way, lately. Now, he struggled a lot right after getting traded to the Phillies. It wasn't a quick transition. Not that he was killing it with the Twins. He was awful in his first 15 games or so as a Philly. Well, have you ever sat up late at night fantasizing about Barry Bonds if he bleached his skin, was 3 inches shorter, Jewish, and decided to hit righty for some reason just because he got bored or whatever? Well, for anyone who's ever done that, we now have that as a reality. That's what Harrison Bader's been over his last 20 or so games. Unbelievable. I mean, he's literally hitting over 430 over this span. He smacks another base hit in the 7th before Kyle Schwarber hits his 50th home run of the season. He's been unconscious. Bader smacking more balls. He drives in the 9th run of the game. Meanwhile, Ranger Suarez strikes out 12. Dominant night that somehow pales in comparison to what happened the next night. Christopher Sanchez throws 6 scoreless innings, just 1 run, as the Phillies put up 11 runs. Max Kepler had himself a night. He's another guy who's really turned it around. If anything, he's more accurate to a whitewashed Bonds because he at least hits lefty too. He gets hit by a pitch in the 1st inning with the bases loaded. Bro doesn't even have to swing the bat, but he does in the 5th inning after that homeless dude. Brandon Marsh drives home Real Muto all the way from first base. Then the Mets bring in Gregory Soto to face Kepler. The classic, the more the merrier strap. But no, just because you have multiple Sotos on the same team doesn't mean it'll work. Kepler knows this. He tells the Mets to ask Siri. He takes the first pitch he sees from Soto to center field. 4-1. Deja vu in the 6th. The caveman, Brandon Marsh drives in a run, and then Kepler follows him up with a base hit again on the first pitch, again to center field. again. Hey Siri, how many runs is that? 2? Okay, thanks. It's 7-1. Kemp hits a sac fly, 8 runs on the board. But Bryce Harper still hadn't had a hit up to this point. Never mind. Home run right field. Juan Soto hits a big 3-pointer to cut the deficit to 47. Now in the game, Ryan Helsley. Yeah, this is definitely what they envisioned their big stud reliever they traded for at the deadline to be doing. Entering in the 8th inning of the game with the Mets down 8 runs, giving up rockets into the stands to make that down 9 runs. Woo! Helsley, man. Brutal. Have you ever sat up late at night fantasizing about Mariano Rivera if he bleached his skin and was the worst reliever in history rather than the best? For anyone who's ever done that, we now have that as a reality. Baseball is so fascinating, man. You have guys throwing 103 miles an hour with nasty sliders, yet the hitters look like they're playing MLB The Show on easy mode. Since joining the Mets, Ryan Helsley has an ERA higher than the amount of years it's taken to make GTA 6. At the time of this video, he's given up 16 runs in 13 innings. He's already given up as many home runs in these 13 innings as he did with the Cardinals. One of them now coming off the bat of Max Kepler. Phillies win 11-3. Wow. Can't get any worse for the Mets. And that looked to exactly be the case to kick off Game 4. Francisco Lindor leads off the game with a base hit. Then Juan Soto smacks one for another hit. Both of them steal bases. Before Mark Vientos and Brandon Nimmo knock 2 home on base hits. Then Starling Marte's like, you guys are lame. I'm going to hit a double. 2 more runs scored. 4-0 Mets in the first inning. Hey, at the very least, they lost this series 3 out of 4. That's bad. But this is as good of an answer to those first 3 games you can think of. And then David Peterson comes out. He's through 3 shutout innings, 4 strikeouts. Mets are rolling along. I mean, again, it couldn't get any worse. I mean, come on. After the way those first 3 games went.
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
Nick Castellanos walks, then Otto Kemp takes the first pitch he sees 433 feet away to cut the Mets lead in half. Next inning, Bryce Harper up with 2 outs and a man on first. He slams this down the line and right. Weston Wilson comes all the way around from first. It's 4-3. Peterson strikes out the next hitter, Realmuto, to end the inning. This was a weird game for Peterson. He either struck the hitter out or gave up a rocket. No in between. Time for the Mets bullpen.
Fuck.
Nick Castellanos pretends the baseball is my face and whacks a double. Otto Kemp cranks one. I find it really funny that Kemp just randomly decided to be insane against the Mets. Castellanos touches home. We're tied. The Phillies have come all the way back. The homeless caveman, Brandon Marsh walks on 4 pitches. 2 batters later, Barry Bonds, if he bleached his skin, was 3 inches shorter, Jewish, and decided to hit righty for some reason just because he got bored or whatever. Sends this ball into center. It's like his 50th hit in the last 5 games. Phillies take the lead. In comes Brooks Raley, the lefty, to face the lefty hitters. Kyle Schwarber swings and misses at the first pitch. Raley gets ahead in the count, yet follows that up with 4 pitches not even remotely close to the zone.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Bryce Harper smashes this thing into the frickin' polar bear, gets away, another run scores. It's 6-4. Well, there's still a lot of baseball left to go. The Mets hitters got 9 outs to play with here. And what did they do with that? They hit like they had no legs.
How about no arms? No arms or legs is basically how you exist right now, Kevin. You don't do anything.
That literally sums up how these last 3 innings went. They go 1-2-3 in the 7th. Marte and McNeil strike out. They go 1-2-3 in the 8th. Ronald Acuna Jr.'s brother and Francisco Lindor strike out. And they go 1-2-3 in the 9th against Joan Duran. Juan Soto, the frickin' polar bear, and Mark Vientos all strike out. And Vientos had to honor Alvarez with that last one. Wow, was there a lot of redemption in this series for the Phillies. Joan Duran redeems himself with 2 saves, and after giving up 5 straight singles to the Mets dating back to that last series to start this series, he ends this series in the regular season against the Mets with 5 straight strikeouts.
It's like poetry, so if they rhyme. Every stanza kind of rhymes with the last one.
And the Mets, after sweeping the Phillies at home 2 weeks ago, get the same hand dealt to them, but even worse. They get swept now in a 4-game series. It looked like this was almost a bad team problem. Like they were able to beat the good teams. They whooped Philly, they whooped Detroit, but they lost 3 of 4 to the Marlins and 2 of 3 to a Reds team that's around 500. Well, now it's an any team problem. They can't seem to beat the bad or the good teams. The Mets had a chance to make up at least decent ground in the division, only to leave 11 games back with 0 hope and humiliated. There's still a lot of baseball to go, and the Mets are still probably a playoff team, but it's hard to watch what just happened and not think the Mets are Hall of Fame cooked. Let me know your thoughts, and thank you for watching. Love you. Bye.